The world we not so long ago were used to might now look like quite a free place. Yet those freedoms we enjoyed were recently stripped away in an enormous tidal wave attack on most of our remaining liberties, businesses, money, investments and assets, all caused by this Illuminati-run cabal who's used the COVID-19 scam as the excuse for every new and ongoing liberty violation that we are now experiencing since this nightmare began. And daily they keep pushing forward to implement even more tyrannical laws while keeping us all locked down, or should I say locked up. I mentioned before in a documentary about how the people of Boston once revolted over a much smaller attack on their liberties than what we're actually facing right now. It's famous and called the Boston Tea Party. However, the attitudes of the masses back then, their awarenesses of their rights to liberty and pursuit of happiness, is unfortunately way different than found in most folks today. There's a famous proverb that says, freedom is for everyone, but not everyone is for freedom. And unfortunately, we've ended up in this mess, not because of the evil cabal attacking us, because they've been at it for a long time, but instead because too many people have let themselves become brainwashed and deceived by the cabal's controlled lamestream media. And they've also, for decades, indoctrinated the minds of children in schools and universities to be scared, weak, compliant, deceived, and lately also trying to feminize both boys and weak men. As long as people have existed, it's always been the men who had to rise up and go and battle the enemy. Yet with this enemy, they've for decades been trying to turn real men into wimpy pussies, hence the reason why in most countries and states we only now see the tyranny go from bad to worse and maybe soon to horrible. As an example, it says in the US Constitution that the people have the right to form a militia that's greater in firepower and in size than its own government in case the government ever goes rogue. And boy have they gone rogue.
To achieve the fastest ever by far launch of a vaccine trial, this new virus, this very vicious virus. Its objective is to finish developing and then to manufacture and distribute a proven coronavirus vaccine as fast as possible. Again, we'd love to see if we could do it prior to the end of the year. The full resources of the United States government and the excellence and precision of the United States military. We have the military totally involved. And that really talking about the logistics. We get it when we get it. That means the logistics, getting it out so that everybody can take it. While we accelerate the final phases of vaccine trials, Operation Warp Speed will be simultaneously accelerating its manufacturing process. In other words, we're getting ready so that when we get the good word that we have the vaccine, we have the formula, we have what we need, we're ready to go, as opposed to taking years to gear up. We're gearing up on the assumption that we'll have in the near future, relatively near future, a vaccine.
One of the great advantages that we have as a military is our ability to do logistical and sustainment operations afar. We're just going to apply those capabilities to this mission. This mission is about defeating the enemy.
Your government has locked down the country, locked innocent people up against threats and fines, shut almost all businesses and destroyed many of them, and created over 30 million unemployed people so far, forced everyone to wear a mask which destroys their own immune system with fines for not wearing one, and they've forced you to walk 6 feet apart or you get fined, and there's stupid rules to stay out of parks and from oceans or swimming, and the list goes on and on and on. And they are busy erecting 5G lampposts and towers while you're sleeping and setting further traps for all of us. In other words, we're having our lives and sovereignties stomped on. And if we don't wake the hell up, then not only will we have a bleak future, but what are we leaving for our children and grandchildren to inherit from us? Okay, so despite all our media fighting and all our complaints opposing new insane legislation being pushed through by governments, then the cabal is still bullying their way forward with their evil Agenda 21 depopulation plan. So as our civil fighting efforts obviously aren't enough to neither beat them or bring them to justice this way, then maybe we just need to admit, like they had to throughout history when being attacked, that much more hardcore fighting efforts are obviously needed to turn the tide the other way. About these cowardly enemies that we are facing now, remember that even the most spoiled, hypocritical, psychopathic and greedy person you could come up against, they soon switch from acting out their stupid behaviors and destructive beliefs when a loaded gun is pointed at them from folks who are willing to take action if they don't do what's right according to the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. Remember that millions of corrupted people globally has been part of assisting this evil cabal and locking down the entire planet in order to implement a new totalitarian technocracy with ongoing medical martial law as the new normal. These sick bastards all need to be hunted down and brought to justice. If we focus on the US for a moment, they have roughly 1,000 existing militia groups, some being small, medium and large in size. And now more than ever, we need folks to join these groups or even to establish more of them. These groups also need to recruit police and military folk into them who are well known for upholding the Constitution and believing in it 100%. These groups need to start making civil arrests and implementing punishment of any known New World Order globalist assisting in the takedown of our societies and our way of life. And this includes corrupted law enforcement agents or captains. The list of culprits to be arrested should also include a wide range of folk from governments, military, the corrupted press, corporations, medical industries, politicians, associations, organizations, bankers, especially Illuminati or other globalist support groups or cults, satanic worshippers, human traffickers, and even organizations that are shipping children around the world or hostages that they've taken. They all need to be hunted down and brought to justice, as I said.